Welcome to the program. I'm Jane Mutoni. Officials from Rwanda Investigation Bureau and the Ministry of National Unity and Civic Engagement have held discussions on new measures to fight crimes related to corruption. Prime Minister Dr. Edward Ngirente emphasizes that the government continues to address the problem of unemployment, especially among the youth. A very warm welcome to the news in details. Now, Rwanda and China have signed an agreement to abolish the double taxation of goods between the two countries. The agreement is expected to boost investment and trade. Gloria Mutesi reports.
The agreement was signed by the Minister of Finance and Economic Planning, Dr. Uziel Ndajimana, and the Chinese ambassador to Rwanda, His Excellency Rao Hongwei. The Minister of Finance and Economic Planning, Dr. Uziel Ndajimana, points out that Rwanda will benefit because China is a good and large market, and it will also help prevent tax evasion.
China is the largest market in the world, so having a contract with them is of great benefit to us because it will enable Chinese investors to come and work in Rwanda, because we have now removed the issue of them being taxed here and even when they go back home. There is also the aspect of sharing information so that no one gets to evade tax on both sides. So this agreement will help in this regard.
The Chinese ambassador to Rwanda says that the agreement is a key factor in boosting trade between the two countries and pledges that this is a catalyst for increasing Chinese investment in Rwanda.
That's my strong belief. With the signing of this agreement, there will be more and more Chinese investors, especially in the private sector. You know, in China, the private sector is getting stronger and stronger compared to the whole our investors to come here to Rwanda to invest. That's a big signal to show to the Chinese investors. So I have big confidence there will be more and more Chinese investors, either from the state-controlled company or the private sectors.
Rwanda imports a lot of products from China and exports agro-based products, including vegetables, to China. In general, officials in the Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning point out that such agreements that were signed in the past have already yielded good results due to the increase in investment from countries that have already signed with Rwanda, including Turkey, Qatar, Morocco, South Africa, Singapore, and others.
We are still in the process of increasing partnerships through cooperation agreements like these with other countries, some of whom we are still negotiating with. This is because we are looking for ways to increase the number of countries we sign such agreements with. That way we are attracting investment into the country. And for the people that come to work in Rwanda would benefit from such cooperation agreements we have signed with these countries. Because their companies are Rwandan, they are able to expand their businesses in these countries, which makes us a good investment forum to expand all around. We are therefore accelerating this, and we plan to reach about 45 countries in the near future.
By 2020, the Asian continent had invested in Rwanda worth more than 341.5 billion Rwanda francs, and China accounting for more than 282 billion Rwanda francs. Rwanda currently has agreements with 15 countries to abolish double taxation, while China has similar agreements with about 125 countries.
Officials from the Rwanda Investigation Bureau and the Ministry of National Unity and Civic Engagement have held discussions on new measures to fight crimes related to corruption.
During the meeting, participants looked into the problem of corruption in different institutions. Investigators at the Rwanda Investigation Bureau note that not even they are immune from the clutches of the vice and vow to work to ensure that they fight it.
Investigators should perform their duties quickly to eliminate the temptation of taking bribes.
Corruption cannot be eliminated unless everybody plays their part. People don't just give bribes unless they feel it is necessary, meaning they have not been getting the services they should. That means there must be good service delivery, and that must be urgently accomplished, with people getting good services indiscriminately. The head of the Rwanda Investigation Bureau agrees that investigators face many challenges, which is why professionalism and integrity must be maintained at all times. They must carry out their duties diligently and professionally, because you cannot fight corruption if you love it and take bribes. The fact is, the people who come to us need our services and have pressing problems. If you are therefore attracted to bribes, it becomes a slippery slope. Rwanda's justice system has come a long way in the decades since the country was liberated, and this is reflected in the way those in the sector are trained to fight corruption and injustice. Many of the laws before the country was liberated promoted divisionism, which only shattered the unity of Rwandans. That is, until the government of national unity was sworn in. After that came laws that protect human rights and institutions charged with ensuring that they are respected. Most notably, however, is the training that is facilitated for the employees of those institutions. RIB was created 3 years ago, and so far 27 employees have lost their jobs because of corruption. 5 are currently under investigation, and another 24 provided information on corruption and were rewarded for their actions.
Prime Minister Dr. Eduardo Ngirente emphasizes that the government continues to address the problem of unemployment, especially among the youth, as currently more than 600 million Rwandan francs has been allocated in some districts to combat youth unemployment. The percentage of people who are unemployed this year is at 23% compared to 13% before COVID. Gloria Mutesi reports.
While some activities are resuming after being suspended in a bid to prevent the spread of the pandemic, some residents in Kigali, including young people, acknowledge that they lost their jobs due to the pandemic. It's not easy to get jobs these days. There are people that finish school but are just seated at home. It would be helpful if they create jobs for people. Statistics show that this year, the people eligible for work who are 16 years and above are 7.6 million, and yet only 3.4 million are the ones employed. The overall unemployment rate is 23% this year as compared to 13% in February 2020. Figures also show that 210,000 people, accounting for 34.5% of business people, lost their jobs. In the construction sector, 122,000 or 21.3% lost their jobs, and 149,000 or 50.1% in the industry sector, while the agriculture sector accounts for 277,000 people or 23.3% of those who lost their jobs. Truthfully, sometimes we can't blame the employers because they also perhaps didn't have a way out because they weren't working as well. However, shouldn't there be an institution that brings them together to see how to go about this challenge, bearing in mind that both sides can do so as they continue sustaining themselves? On the other hand, some sectors continue to operate and recover from the economic impacts of COVID-19, even though it might take some time. Some private companies are now resorting to the use of technology to increase the number of jobs. Comparing 2020 and this year, we had 4,200 agents, and in the East we had 10,150. Currently, we have just 122 who get pension and VAT, and as the business recovers, the company will continue growing as well. While presenting to the Parliament in a joint session actions related to COVID-19 vaccination programs and how far economic recovery was, Prime Minister Dr. Eduardo Ngirente explained that the issue of unemployment was being followed up on, especially among the youth.
Nk'urubyiruko rwo mu cyaro hari uturere tumwe tumaze kugeramo aho twaruhangiye imirimo
For instance, the youth upcountry. There are some districts where we have created jobs for them, such as in Nyagatare, Burera, Gicumbi. There are initiatives we have invested in heavily for the young people to get jobs. For those of you that might have gone there, might know that there are initiatives where they are paid 2,000 per day so they could sustain themselves. And this is one of the very many plans we intend to extend across the country and even in Kigali city. I wish to inform you that the challenge of youth unemployment is one we are taking seriously and working for it to be eliminated.
Although unemployment has increased by 10% in 1 year, the national economy is expected to grow at a rate of 10.2% in 2021, compared to a rate of 3.4% below zero, which had fallen in 2020.
Akagera National Park is the only protected area in Rwanda with the big 5 animals and over 10 water bodies, including Lake Ihema, the second biggest lake in Rwanda. The Savannah Park attracts hundreds of thousands of visitors every year. Besides having rich wildlife, there are people who work day and night to make Akagera one of the most attractive tourism destinations in Rwanda. Among them is Denise Umugwaneza, who has worked as a tour guide for over 13 years. Our reporter Ethan Tashomya walked in her shoes for 2 days in the middle of Akagera and filed this report. Take a look.
At around 6 a.m., our car pulls in the parking of Akagera National Park headquarters. We are received by Denise Umugwaneza.
Hey, how are you? I'm fine, thank you.
You're well?
You are most welcome.
My name is Ethan.
My name is Denise.
Yeah.
And I'm park guide here. So you're welcome.
She walks me through the health guideline protocols before leading me to the cafe to grab a cup of hot coffee, a sensible recommendation before a cold morning safari drive.
So here we have a coffee shop. Nice. I think you can order some cup. How is it?
That's good.
Nice.
That's good.
Okay.
I'm ready for a morning safari ride.
I see.
After clearing all the routine protocols, the park management has allowed us full access to a much anticipated safari experience, and Denise is our tour guide of the day.
But there is a small map of our park, and now we are here. Actually, this is the beginning of our safari. We're gonna use like 5 hours of approximately 5 to 6, yeah.
Denise has been guiding tourists for more than 13 years. At the age of 19, right after completing high school, Denise began her career as a tour guide in Akagera National Park. She fully understands the wildlife and animal behavior in this facility.
You know, even animals are having the same different behavior. You know, people are living in the water. Yeah, you cannot see them like on the hills. During the day, it's very rare. It can happen, but it's very rare.
Akagera National Park is home to a variety of wildlife, including the deadliest animals. But Denise asserts that this is not a threat to her because this is a job she enjoys doing, despite experiencing a few scary encounters with some of the animals.
One day, I have kicked with an elephant. Oh. Yeah, with a guest. It was really terrible, but nothing special happened as getting in there. Yeah, we were in the car, but the car was destroyed.
Akagera National Park has 10 huge water bodies, including Lake Hago. Upon reaching here, we found a few hippos and crocodiles floating on the water, with others basking in the morning sun in the nearby bushes.
This lake is called Hago.
Hago?
Yeah, it's like a third biggest lake in the park, after Ihema and Rwanda Kizinga.
We are just a few meters away from the lake.
Mm-hmm.
This is scary, isn't it?
No, actually, this distance is not for us. Yeah, even for the animals.
Do you think we can get
No. This one is, yeah.
This is enough.
Yes.
For 13 years,
yes,
doing the same job
yes.
on a daily basis,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't that actually get bored at some time?
As I may say it, each day is unique for me. I feel it. It's my passion. I really love it.
Akagera National Park is internationally known for its diverse wildlife, including the Big Five, the buffaloes, rhinos, elephants, leopards, and lions. It took us 2 days to meet the mighty kings of the jungle.
Look at the lions. Please try to open the window of the car. You can have a good spot. Yeah.
Are you able to see?
Yes. But it's a small pride.
How many do we have?
Nowadays we have roughly 40.
Yeah,
4 lions, yes. And I see that pride has only 1 male. Other 4 remaining are females. They look peaceful. Please be quiet.
Giraffes are some of the common animals in Akagera National Park. They were translocated from Kenya, donated by the Kenyan authorities in 1986. There were 6 back then, but they have grown into hundreds. They are actually between 100 and 120. On the second day of our trip, Denise took us on a boat trip on Lake Ihema. Lake Ihema is the second biggest lake in Rwanda after Lake Kivu.
Short briefing related to our activity. Thank you.
My name is Innocent. I'm boat captain and park guide as well. Nice to meet with you. Welcome, almost welcome in Akagera National Park.
Touring Lake Ihema is a rare activity for visitors to Akagera National Park. The lake is 90 square kilometers wide with a depth of between 5 to 7 meters. Ndagijimana Innocent is our boat captain. He has been in the conservation industry for over 15 years. Innocent has worked with Denise for the last 13 years. The boat captain reserved special praise for his female colleague.
Yeah, Denise, she's a female guide and she's working very well. Since I knew her, she's working very well, she's knowledgeable, she's trying to make an effort and to make a difference. Because many people, they say, no, the men, they give maximum service, but I can say through that Denise, she's giving maximum service, even sometimes more than men's.
34-year-old Denise is a trained conservationist with degree in environmental management from the Catholic University of Kabgayi, and a diploma in wildlife conservation from Chitabi College of Conservation and Environmental Management, currently known as IPLC Chitabi. Besides ensuring that tourists enjoy the beautiful scenery of Akagera National Park, Denise strives to inspire as many girls as possible into the conservation and tourism industry.
Yeah, I can encourage the women in general to love this, because when you're in this environment, you are always happy. You know, you can live longer. Yes, yeah. And another thing, most of the women, they are scared of living in such kind of environment because of they are scared of snakes and animals. Other people, they say that this is a job for only men, but the things that I can tell them, they can be like, how can I say, what men can do, even females can. It's really possible.
Denise works day and night. Whenever duty calls, she's ready to jump on the next safari car into the wilderness. I asked if my crew could join her on the night safari drive. She graciously accepted.
Actually, night game safari, it is an activity done at night, and it starts by 5:30 to 8 or 8:30. Yeah, the purpose is to looking for nocturnal animals and to look this kind of environment during the night time. Yeah.
Akagera Park received 19,500 visitors in 2019, and the numbers dropped to 15,800 in 2020 due to COVID-19 pandemic. This year, the number of visitors to the park is expected to exceed 20,000 according to the officials. Of the total number of visitors to Akagera, 50% are Rwandan nationals, 32% are foreigners coming outside Rwanda, while 18% of the visitors are foreign nationals living in Rwanda. An adult Rwandan is required to pay 15,000 Rwandan francs to visit Akagera National Park, while children under the age of 5 can access the park free of charge. For those between the ages of 6 to 12, they are required to pay $10,000, while foreigners pay $100 to visit the park.
Day and night, on the land and on the sea, Denise will take you there to make sure you enjoy your experience in Akagera National Park. It's people like her that make a difference in Rwanda's conservation, making the country one of the leading tourism destinations in the world. Reporting for RTV News, Ethan Tashabia on Lake Ihema in Akagera National Park.
Ethan Tashabia. The Office of the Ombudsperson has reiterated that anti-corruption is one of the keys to achieve Vision 2050. For this reason, youth representatives from 30 districts across the country were brought together in talks aimed at fighting against corruption. Preventing and fighting against corruption is one of the keys to achieving the Vision 2050. The youth say they are well aware of this fact and that they are willing to play their role as well. We shall not be tolerating anything that sounds fishy or unprofessional.
We as the youth have a huge part to play in ensuring that the country achieves the Vision 2050, which means we need to put in more effort.
The Ombudsperson, Nidere Madeleine, says the country's progress in fighting corruption is commendable. She, however, says that the involvement of the youth in Rwanda, especially in the prevention of corruption at all levels, is vital. From primary to secondary schools, anti-corruption courses are being taught because the country cannot achieve good governance or even thrive when there is corruption, because it brings about injustice as people are not treated fairly or given what they ought to be given, hence creating a gap in service delivery. The Minister of State in charge of Culture in the Ministry of Youth and Culture, Bamporiki Edward, points out that the cooperation of the youth in fighting corruption will help the government solve many of the issues they face.
There are those who fall into the temptation to be corrupt, and others get involved in other crimes and lose their dreams, all because they said yes to the things they should have rejected. We live in a country that empowers workers and supports them. What people try to tempt you with today will be the foundation that you use tomorrow to set up projects that sustain others.
Rwanda is ranked top in the region when it comes to fighting corruption, 4th on the continent and 49th globally. More than 2,000 market vendors in Rulindo district of Rwanda's northern district that had been braving the elements in an open-air market are expressing gratitude over the fact that an enclosed modern one is now being constructed for them, able to hold more than 3,000 vendors. They say the market will also help them to properly organize their produce.
The market vendors operate in the open-air market of Base and have tried to erect their own market stalls, but they do little to protect them.
The problem we have is the rain and the sun that beats down on us. It's always one or the other. I sell eggplant, tomatoes and carrots. When it rains, we have nowhere to shelter. Every time the wind picks up, everything is covered in dust. When the heat increases, our vegetables and fruits shrivel up.
The open-air market convenes on Wednesdays and Saturdays, attracting vendors from the districts of Rulindo, Burera, Gakenke, Musanze and even Kigali. The two-story modern market being constructed at Base is therefore eagerly awaited by the vendors.
When it is complete, it will solve many problems. For instance, the fact that we currently operate just 2 days a week. While operating there, we should be able to work every day. It's a modern market and should help the area develop faster. We want it complete as soon as possible. We are eagerly waiting to go there so that we don't have to scramble to cover up our goods every time it rains.
The project to construct the market itself is proving very beneficial as it is, providing employment for more than 200 people, and district officials are confident that once complete, it will prove to be a valuable asset for Rulindo and beyond.
That open-air market at Basse attracts vendors from far and wide, even in Kigali. So local residents are happy that a new modern one is now being constructed, the implementation phase having begun in June this year. We are therefore calling on vendors from other regions of the country as well to start booking their spots, because it will be very conducive for business once complete. Obviously, we want them to come to our district because that means we will be able to collect more taxes.
Once complete, the modern market at Basse will be the largest ever built in Rulindo. It should be complete by October next year at a cost of slightly more than 1.5 billion Rwandan francs.
Well, there you have it. On behalf of the entire news production team, thank you so much for your company. I'm Jane Mutoni. Bye for now.